But here's something that I mean, it's just never ending. New York Times is reporting that a statue of Thomas Jefferson, big ass statue, 7 feet tall, has sat for 100 years in the chambers of the New York City Council at City Hall. And the statue was put there as a, I don't know, a testament to his role as one of the nation's founding fathers and the primary author of the Declaration of Independence, which didn't apply to women, didn't apply to Native people, didn't apply to Africans who had been ripped into enslavement. No. Had to do with white male landowners, but never mind. But for the last 20 years, this is very local, this is New York, some Black and Latino council members in New York City, citing Jefferson's history as a slaveholder, wanted the statue to be banished. Now, you know, the focus is always on these filthy, scum-sucking, ignorant, goddamn, savage, white warmongers in the South who led the Confederate forces in an act of horrific insurrection that resulted in three-quarters of a million Americans dead at each other's hands. These were Americans on Americans, kind of like Iraqis on Iraqis, right? But it wasn't just these criminal goddamn rebels, whatever you want to call them here in the South. What about Jefferson? What about Sally Hemings? You know, there's two branches of Thomas Jefferson descendants, Jefferson family, the white branch and the black branch, right? Huh? And what was it, about 20, 25 years ago, they decided to hold a family reunion that was a real family reunion, and it was quite a sight to see. But anyway, yesterday, city officials in New York City voted unanimously to remove the statue of Thomas Jefferson from city council chambers, but they weren't sure where to put it. Where do we put it? So we have a spokesperson here, Signe Nielsen. He's president of the Public Design Commission, which oversees art in New York City on city-owned property. And at a public hearing before the vote, this guy said, quote, "There are 700 pieces of art under our jurisdiction. We cannot make a rash decision that will set a precedent for the other 699 pieces of artwork that may also have challenges from people or other groups of people," end quote. Oh, why not place the statue of Jefferson in, I don't know, the Smithsonian or the New York Historical Society or a museum someplace, which would be the appropriate thing? Haven't we talked about this over and over again? The appropriate thing for the statues of these warmongering, murderous son of a bitches who represented an absolute certainty to continue enslavement in this country to the point of causing 750,000 Americans to kill each other? Put them where they belong, in a museum. This is what criminals look like. Don't they look respectable? This is what racist son of a bitches who had no problem with slavery. I mean, what the hell? How could they? Their own religion supported slavery. Their own religion admonished slaves, don't you rise up against your master. You're a slave. You're going to be a slave. Your life is worthless. Fuck you. We don't want to hear a word out of you. Just go chop the cotton. Go hand the tobacco. Just do what we tell you to do. Whew. What a mess. What a mess. What a horrible, inexcusable mess. And there's no way to avoid a very certain aspect of all of this tragedy that we keep walking into, we keep causing for ourselves and the rest of the world, and that is the legacy of this Christian fascist religion. It's there. I mean, don't talk about it. Try to ignore it. Go ahead, go to church on Sunday. Pretend like you're involved in some sort of an honest relationship with a being that doesn't even exist. I mean, if that's what gets you off, then do it. But when you take a look at the history, when you really open your eyes and cut the shit and just stop it. I know I'm treading where I shouldn't be right now. If you're a Christian, a Catholic, or a Protestant, if you believe that stuff, that's your business, and I have no right to tell you you're full of shit. And I've said many times, I don't care what you worship. But get it the fuck out of government. Will you please stop using your religion to justify bigotry and racism and slavery and the destruction of other races and the invasion of other countries? I mean, just stop it. Can't do that, can you? I'm not talking to you, gentle listener. I'm trying not to, and I'm not. I mean, it's none of my business, is it? I'm just howling into the infinite here. That's all. You come to this podcast, and occasionally you'll hear howling into the universe. It's about all it amounts to, and I understand that. It's frustrating to understand that. But I know my place in the universe. It doesn't exist. It's so infinitesimally impossible to even try to define my little speck of reality. Right. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.